here is a strange episode of Grace Unfiltered.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be different. Bishop, you know what? I've sat in the green chair with Josh. I sat in the green chair with somebody else. I've watched you sit in the green chair, but I have not sat in the green chair with you.
Come on, man.
Man, I've been knowing you, Bishop, for 277 years, and we've never done this before.
Never.
You taught me everything I know. So when I mess up, it's your fault.
Okay. I've been taking that heat for a long time.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, I get nervous when I'm preaching. I get nervous when I'm preaching. We got some, so here's the deal. We got a couple of questions.
Okay.
And one of those, let me just start with this question. People think that I don't know how to do stuff.
Okay.
But I do.
Yes.
And one of the questions that they asked, so Sunday at 9 o'clock, the 9 o'clock service, a video was played with music in the background of Josh dancing.
Yes.
And the question that they asked was, did I edit the video myself or did I pay somebody $20 in Cash App?
Okay.
So here's the deal, Bishop, and here's the truth. I didn't edit all of it,
but
I edited part of it.
Okay.
And no, I didn't pay nobody $20 Cash App, because if they can't do it as a favor, it won't get done.
It won't get done.
That's it. That's it.
What shall separate you from your money?
Nothing. Neither height nor depth or a video of Josh won't do it. Then somebody asked me this question, and I struggle with this because this is not a big deal about Grace United, because the cool thing I like about me, you, and Josh is that we all have our own personalities. You know, Josh talked about on Grace Unfiltered and other times that you're the three-piece suit guy. Yeah. It's just what you do. Yeah. It is, as long as I've known, when I met you, you didn't have a three-piece suit on, you had a double-breasted suit. Yes. That was back in the day.
Yes.
I used to wear suits sometime. Josh probably only wears a suit at a funeral.
Or a wedding.
Well, more of a wedding, because I don't think Josh goes to funerals. But the question they asked was, do I wear a suit?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I'll let you.
No, well, go ahead. I mean, you know me, so when do I?
Well, normally when you can,
Oh, when I can fit in a suit. Yeah, when I can fit in a suit. Yeah, okay. But I am working. You're
going in that direction.
Yeah, I am going in that direction. I am working on buying suits that are larger. I thought you thought I was going to say I'm working on suits that, that losing weight. Forget that. I have given that dream up.
I've got another good friend. That's what he said, look, I'm just going to let him out.
There you go. Well, my material is at its max. So I don't have that. I don't have that. Here's the thing. Somebody asked this question. They said, Bishop, have you ever tried donuts from Cinnamon Cream Bakery?
No.
It's off Chenal, and you might like them even more than Krispy Kreme.
I need to try to find out where that is.
Yeah, they say it's up. If you go, I'll pay for whatever you get.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
That's what the question said?
Yeah. No. It just, no, it didn't say that. I'll kneel. I'll pay for it. If you find it, I'll pay for it. Yeah. Here's a question that somebody asked you. Here's one thing that I think that I like this series. This series that we're doing, Accept One Another, is challenging.
Yes. It
is challenging from a preaching perspective, and I think that it is challenging just listening.
Yes.
Sunday, you talked about love one another. And you made the comment, the question is this, you made the comment about that your ministry was based on love. How have you demonstrated that in your ministry in the past, and what does that look like for Grace United as far as you're concerned?
I believe that God has allowed my ministry to have a few platforms, grace, faith, and love. Yeah. Those three components. Love to me is the greatest of them all. It's based on the scripture when God says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Yeah. And with my loving kindness have I drawn you. Yeah. And so that's the platform that I try to operate in ministry, loving people regardless of what they've done, where they are, what they're doing right now, is to love them with the love of God. I made the comment, I will love the hell out of you. Yeah. Which simply means, as I love you, and continue to get close and develop a relationship with you, all of a sudden, some things that you used to do, you'll stop doing. Yeah. And we've got so many testimonies of people who showed up. I'm talking about gang members, people who have had their struggles with alcohol, drugs, all of those things, and then down the road, they've left those things, and it's not so much mean, but the power of God, of discipling people and bringing them out of that, but then outside of the church, demonstrating that love to the community. Because so often we just demonstrate this love within these four walls, when God has called us to go into the hedges and the highways and demonstrate the love of God, from outreach, feeding the homeless, clothing the naked, prisons, nursing homes, all those things, especially schools. So we have relationship with Little Rock, Pulaski County Special School District. All of those things to me is the love of God in action.
You know what, you will never bring this up, but I want to bring this up. So when you were talking about, loving and your ministry is based on love, the story that I remember, and I don't think people know this story, and if you don't want to talk about it, you can tell me about Steve Murdoch. About the, just about the fact, so Steve, let me kind of set it up for you. So Steve Murdoch, and you don't use these examples a lot anymore in preaching, but you people don't know you were an all-star football player, highly recruited when you were in high school, gave all of that up because God drew you with an everlasting love. And there was a guy that was your quarterback when you were in high school named Steve Murdoch, who's since passed away, but just the story of you sharing love for Steve is something that I think that people need to hear about.
Steve Murdoch, and thanks for bringing that up, because that's an amazing story of transformation.
Yes.
Steve was not so much raised in the church. We grew up together, elementary all the way through high school. Murdoch went off to the military, got hooked on drugs, alcohol, all of that. I'll never forget when he came back home. He came by the house, he said, my nickname was Boom Boom back in the day. He said, Boom, I didn't come by for you to try to lead me to Christ. I just came by, I want to see you. But he told me, he said, when I get ready, I'm coming to see you. Then a few months later. You were already
in church.
I was already in church, in ministry. A few months later, Murdoch was homeless. Picked him up off the street, took him to a homeless shelter. And then probably 3 months after that, he walked the aisle at the church.
Wow.
And accepted Christ, baptized. And for probably 4 years, I discipled Murdoch. Would pick him up from the VA, bring him to church, end up going into the ministry, going to school, becoming a teacher, married with a family. Murdoch was like my hero because of the major transformation that God did in his life.
And you just showing that piece of love. And I think sometimes people think that when we preach, we just say stuff to say stuff. But that is a tangible, long-term example that paid dividends. Because here's the deal. Not only, like you said, did he come off the street, you showed love to him, but he was able to exhibit love to his family. And now I watch his son, who I don't even know how old he is, Josh, who goes on mission trips, and who knows what would. Now this is a second generation of someone who has experienced love. His father experienced love, and now his son is showing that love. That's why love is so important.
It's so valuable. And the question was talking about how will that be evident at Grace United. I want Grace United to have a culture of love. That when people drive up on this parking lot, they can sense, they can see, they can experience the actual love of God that comes through his children. Not a culture of condemnation, not a culture of downing people because of how they look, where they came from, what they're involved in, but a culture of love.
And that's it. And I think that the environment is kind of set for that already. I think we're good. Man, here's this question, and I don't know, you can probably answer this for me. It said, Daniil, you talked about how the church has been sleeping. What are some of the biggest ways you see the church sleeping right now? You know what, so I teach a class on Monday nights, and it's probably one of the hardest classes I've ever taught because my mother-in-law is in this class. It's a seminary level class. So she, I don't teach the class, I just show up and listen to her talk.
Yeah, she's not quiet as child.
No, she's not. She gets quiet when she completely disagrees with me. And we talked about on Monday night, we talked about how the church literally fell asleep in March of 2020.
Yes.
The church was more concerned about personal survival than evangelistic efforts.
Yes.
And, you know, people are asking, well, how's the church asleep? We are asleep when, and this may sound, it's not necessarily political, but this is the reality of it. When certain things happen that totally contradict the tenets and the essential principles of the church,
yes,
whether it is in culture, whether it is in policy, or in the community, there should not be homelessness to the degree that homelessness exists in areas where churches exist.
Right.
I live on the principle that, and I don't know if you taught me this or not, that if a church moves from an area, does the area know and does the area care? And if you don't live that, because that sounds like a bishopism right there. And I believe that we're asleep in a lot of different areas. I think that we're asleep with that. I think the church should be leading the conversation on racial reconciliation.
Yes.
I believe that the church should be leading the conversation on how to handle a parenting situation. I believe that the church should be handling the situation on transforming security. That's just my...
No, but that's the assignment that God has given to his body. We are his representative in the earth to make those changes. We're the salt of the earth. We're the light of the world. We ought to be a city set on a hill that cannot be hid. So that's I totally agree with you. And we have fallen asleep, but God has so many wonderful ways of awakening us. This whole movement of Grace United, it serves as an awakening for the community, for the church community. And here's the amazing thing. God has always used common people to do things that are so uncommon.
Man, let me tell you.
And when you look at the three of us, we are just as common as you can be.
I'm more common than anything. You know what? And this is my philosophy. This is my philosophy of ministry and callings. I didn't get in trouble a lot at school, but I got in trouble a lot at home. And when I was in trouble a lot at home, I had to be pulled back in. And I believe that God realizes that we have the potential of wreaking havoc. So he calls us closer to him so that we won't, because left to our own, let me tell you something. I've been left to my own devices. And man, I take my device, your device, it's a mess. But I believe that God is calling us during this season. Let me tell you something. I'm not only grateful to be here with you and Josh, I know that it is a call of God. And I'll continue to tell that story over and over. And I think that Grace United, man, I'm seeing people. One of my good friends, and I'm not going to say her name. She and her husband came on Sunday, and we're part of an established church. Got tired of just the same old, and they said, you know what? Josh hates this, but I'm gonna say it. If you want to know what heaven looks like, that's what she said. She says, you know what? Heaven looks just like this.
I talked with someone this morning, young lady who grew up under our ministry. She's an attorney now. Used to be married to one of your fraternity brothers. And that's what she made the same comment, that this is what heaven is going to look like.
I'm telling you, we cannot deny the term, if you want to know what heaven looks like. It looks like Grace United. Not saying that we have it all, we got it all pulled together, but I believe that as God, and you said it, man, you said it on Sunday, you said we can't do it, but it's by the power of the Holy Spirit that pulls all that together. When we accept one another, love one another, and the church begins
45 years of walking with the Lord, 40 years in ministry, I know that we are right in the center of the will of God. And so God has us.
Yeah.
God is orchestrating this. God is watching over this. God is protecting this. God is going to nurture and mature this.
Yeah. And I'm excited about it. I think everybody else is excited about it. I'm excited about Grace Unfiltered, that we stole everything from Josh, and then we want to just come in here today. So if you have other questions, go ahead and get the app, download the app, so you can hit those questions and find out what's going on here at Grace United. 2 services, most every Sunday, 9 a.m. and 10:45, 4th Sunday of every month. We have a great big service with everybody that can fit in on the zip code 12900 Cantrell Road right here in Little Rock. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Grace Unfiltered.